welcome to your trades. The week ahead, truncated week, but not bad. Friday made up for all of it. We closed at the day's highs, well above 62.50 and a good 2% gain over the week.
And broader markets doing very well. FI is pumping in money all through the week. So, yeah, not a bad week at all.
Yeah, not a bad week at all. Got done with expiry and, of course, a lot of news flow as well. But the markets managed to close at the day's highs. It's been one-way vertical notch up, almost a 2% gain. 62.76 is how we've shut shop in Friday's session. And capital goods quite clearly were the star performers this week, with the capital goods index putting on nearly about 5% this week. Actually, 5.5%, I should say. Lots of individual pockets of strength that we'll discuss in the due course. And sectorally, on the flip side, you had underperformance coming in from the BSE Metals Index. That lost by about almost 3.5%. And power as well didn't have such a great show, down about 1.5% this week.
Yeah, I mean, individual movers, IT was probably the buzzword, also with Tech Mahindra's inclusion into the index with effect from March 28. So look at the way some of the IT names gained in the second half of the week. TCS gained 5% in Friday's session, therefore ending the week 3.5% higher. I think HCL Tech Infi had a fairly decent week too, and that is one pocket to watch out for. Yes, Aisha mentioned cap goods. Look at what BHEL did. Look at what some of the smaller names like a Voltas or a Crompton or an ABB for that matter did in the week. Splendid moves that came in. I want to point out a couple of individual names. Tata Elxsi, with the kind of moves that the stock made all through the week, more so in Friday's session, 15% up. Mahindra Eugene is the other one which had a splendid week. It's off the highs of what it clocked in on Friday, but 25% in a single week alone. So splendid moves out for that one as well. And the stocks which were in news included financial technologies as well. Of course, not amongst the top gainers, but in news all through the week and very, very volatile and choppy. So that's the one that stood out too. Let's get in our technical experts to give us an initial view on the index as well. Mind you, Nifty changes are something that we'll discuss too with our experts. So getting our technical experts to speak about the show. And thanks so much for joining in. Sahil and Sandeep, thanks so much for joining in, both of you. So I'll start off with you. And what do you believe the index and the CNX IT in particular can do next week after the robust week that we've had?
Nifty is right now exhibiting a short-term uptrend, but I think that 6350, 6300 resistance had held on for a very long time now. So I think as a technical analyst, you would want it to get breached before you go very gung-ho about it. So I think we are about 75 points away from that level. So possibly we are going to see some more rally towards 6350 in the short term. So once that level is taken out, I think fresh amount of momentum will get built in. So for Nifty, I think this cap needs to be watched, and at the lower end, I think 6200 is a good support now. So possibly you are going to remain above this watermark at least for this expiry. So I think the build-up right now on Nifty is on low volumes, on low open interest. So I think one should watch out if this volume in OI rises once Nifty goes above the resistance level. Then the short-term uptrend should change to a medium-term uptrend. For IT stocks, there is a lot of build-up coming in Wipro and in TCS. I think possibly HCL Tech is a stock which has hit a roadblock. I think it should see some amount of profit taking from here. So I think the stocks that you should focus on is Wipro and TCS from current levels.
Sandeep, hi. What's the sense that you're getting after the perk up that we saw on Friday? Further up move, or rather upside, I should say, to the index?
Good evening, Aisha. I think we've been talking of 6280, which has come in, but there is absolutely no sign of letting go by the bull. So in that sense, the next target is now 6330, 6350. And mind you, the 50-70 points that I am talking of, the individual stocks will move much more than what the Nifty is suggesting. So Nifty, I would still say, is a consolidating with a bullish bias. CNX IT, I am bullish. I would keep a stop loss of 10,250 and buy on any declines towards 10,300, 280, something like that, or even at the current levels. And at higher levels, I would talk of a 10,550, 10,600 target on a CNX IT. There is no weakness per se in any of the stocks. If at all there is something called as a correction, which is profit booking. So on every correction, I would buy individual stocks from the IT space, and still some more upside as far as the IT space I would talk of.
Maruti, that was clearly the one I saw in Friday's trading session. Some clarifications made by the management on Thursday, and investors still remain unclear on what the company's arrangement is with the Gujarat unit. And Sandeep, clearly this stock has really got punished. What's the sense that you're getting? Further downside in store?
Aisha, absolutely. I would talk of levels of around 1500, 1480 to 1500, which is another 7-8% downside. And 1720 has been a very strong resistance, and what we saw the breakdown come earlier, I think 2 or 3 weeks back, this move after that has been a pullback and was an opportunity to sell out of it in the range of say 1640 to 1680. That is what we have advised people to book out, specifically delivery, and not be in a hurry to buy, because I see levels sub 1500. So one can, if at all one has to buy, one has to take a call around those levels. So even now at a level of 1590, in case of a bounce back of 20, 30, 40 rupees, I would still advise exiting the stock and waiting to buy lower around 1500 to 1480.
Power was one volatile space. Anything that's looking good for a trade?
Aisha, not really. Tata Power, though, my view is not bearish per se. I would talk of a range within which it will move. I don't think it will break 75, 76 on the downside, and on the upside 82, 83. So if you want to play within that, I think Tata Power looks okay. But NTPC clearly looks weak and set for some more downside. So avoid NTPC even at this level.
Sahil, any of the cement charts that look interesting to you for a long?
Cement, I think, is just a bounce back. I don't see that it is a change of a trend for the bullish side. I think largely this uptick that we are seeing in most of the counters, for example, say Ambuja Cements and ACC and Ultratech, it appears to be a bounce back, and I think it can stretch further by at about 5% or so. But I think it's a sell on rise, kind of a rise in most of these counters. So I would avoid any longs in cement and possibly look for shorting opportunities closer to 175 or 177 in Ambuja.
What about an Arvind or a Motherson Sumi? Sahil?
Both the stocks are very interesting. Arvind, if you talk about, I think we are clearly seeing a breakout, and 156 was a clear resistance for the stock. It has started to break that level. I guess the stock would rise towards 173, 175 in the short term. So it appears to be in a good uptick and good momentum. So one should buy it at current prices. Keep a stop loss below 152. I think you should see prices heading towards the mentioned targets. And apart from it, I think in the mid-cap space, you are also seeing momentum in stocks like what you mentioned, MSS, Motherson Sumi, and plus Amara Raja batteries. For Motherson Sumi, I think 220, 230 has been a level which stock did not cross for a brief period of time. We saw a lot of selling pressure last time also. I think this is a successful breach of that level. Possibly the stock should head towards 260 from here. So I think again it's a good buy. A stop below about 223 should suffice, and you should look for levels of about 260 on MSS.
What trades should one execute come Monday morning? Sandeep, come to you first, or actually Sahil, I'm going to come to you first on your trading ideas.
The first idea is Wipro. As we've already shared, IT is in a very nice uptrend. A lot of the stocks are seeing good volume and open interest build up. So Wipro saw an uptick from about 500 to 605. I think the current fall of about 2% today is a good opportunity to again enter long positions. So buying between 585 and 590 with a stop loss below 569, and you could target 630. So this stock is actually well suited for IT right now. I think most of the other counters apart from TCS appears to be overheated. So I think Wipro will provide good margin of safety from a short-term momentum perspective also. The second idea is a call buy on SBI. So a 1550 call option with a premium of about 30 to 34, you could buy that. SBI is a very interesting chart. If you look at it, it's a big underperformer. A lot of banking names have got hammered, and SBI was the big large cap. It saw a big cut. But what has happened is that it has formed 9 consecutive negative closes on a weekly chart, which are lower than the close 4 weeks prior, which is a clear Tom DeMark setup, which signifies that possibly the stock has bottomed out in the short term, and also it has taken support at its September lows and the lows in December 2012. So this is a big major support area, and we are seeing that the stock is able to hold on to these levels. Even post the financial results, I think the stock had a good amount of buying at those levels. So I think a bounce back of about 150 rupees is possible in SBI. So being an underperformer, I think it is better suited to play through call options. So you can buy the 1550 call options, keep a stop loss at about rupees 8, and you could target 80 to 100 rupees on this call.
Great. Sandeep, what is it that you're recommending in trade?
Neeraj, buy in KTK Bank, stop loss of 102, target of 118. It has got good momentum, should see this move in this week, in the coming week. The second call is a buy in a PTC, stop loss of 59, target of 72.
Sandeep, a few stocks which hit 52-week highs in Friday's session. If you would trade any of these, a Dr. Reddy, a Tata Motors, or maybe even an Apollo Tyres.
Neeraj, Tata Motors and Apollo Tyres, both on a correction of 4 to 5%. They are making very clear weekly patterns which are suggesting a breakout. And little bit of a pullback is on the cards given the market scenario where the Nifty is not running away. So in that sense, I would wait for probably a 1.5-2% decline and buy it with a positional view. Talk of a 7 to 8% upside even from the current close.
Okay, Sandeep, Sahil, good to have you guys on board with us as always. Wrap up then this edition of Your Trades, and we'll catch you again with all the market action on Monday morning.